Well, hello. My name is Andrew Cardno, and I'm here with QCI Pod, and we pick up really interesting stories from the industry. Today, I have a really important story that Frances Alvarez is going to share with me about her journey. And well, hello, Frances, and why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. Hi, I'm Frances Alvarez, and I am from the San Pasqual Band of Mission Indians located in beautiful Southern California, San Diego. I am the chairwoman for the Tribal Gaming Protection Network, and I've been in tribal gaming for over 25 years, so it's been a journey.
Wow, it's actually around as about as long as I've been in it. Um, I think I actually think I'm now coming on 25 years, which is amazing. Let's just start with the Tribal Gaming Protection Network. You are the chairwoman of the chairperson of that. Tell me about the organization and how did you get involved in to start with, or tell me about it and then how we get involved.
Okay, well, I'll start from the beginning if you don't mind, just a little bit of history on TGPN, the Tribal Gaming Protection Network. So it started years ago under the name of Eagle Intel, and it was actually a vision of our late Chairman Stevens Jr. He had a vision to create kind of an advisory board of gaming professionals that could advise him on cheats and scam and just the trends in gaming as it relates to tribal gaming. He was focused at that time on the bigger picture that IDA is responsible for, like economic growth and self-sufficiency and just special interests that the tribes were directing him to take that lead. And so he created this advisory board. That board eventually grew into a bigger vision and a bigger purpose. And in 2008, the Tribal Gaming Protection Network became an official nonprofit organization. And what we do is we focus on awareness and education, training in the tribal gaming space. So whether it's cheats and scams, security and surveillance, now technology even has is a significant factor in how we promote awareness against infiltration in tribal gaming. So we've been around for a while, and I've had the honor of serving as chair for the past 6 years.
Wow. So tell me about when you first became the chair. How did that come about? Like, was it was it a big step for you?
Yeah, absolutely. At that point, I had been involved in the organization for many years. I served as the secretary of the board. Before that, I was introduced to the organization through my volunteer opportunities. I was able to support TGPN with just administrative type of work, just volunteering my time. And then I was eventually recruited to join the board, served as secretary for a few years, and then took that leap, I guess, as you would say, into the chair role. And it's been an honor. It's been a challenge at times, but now that we have the opportunity to look at it in a different way, now it's not only serving Indian country and tribal gaming in the protection space, but now we have the true honor of carrying on chairman's legacy within the organization as well.
Yeah, of course, chairman has a huge legacy. That's a lot to
Oh,
carry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So why don't you talked about cybersecurity, which I think I wrote a short book on at some point, and the importance of that. But give me some more specifics of the kinds of things that you've been focused on and doing for tribal nations or with tribal nations.
We host a number of webinars as well as an annual conference. We bring subject matter experts to the property and we do a network session. We also provide quarterly webinars and we focus on different technology slash security surveillance awareness topics. Next month, we'll be hosting a topic based on event preparedness. So we'll talk about what it takes to prepare for security purposes when you're preparing for an event, and that can fall into technology as well as on-site preparedness. And we also host an annual conference called the Women in Tribal Gaming Conference, and we do that every year. And on that note, I would like to kind of thank you, Andrew. Thank you for QCI's support with that conference as well.
Yeah, well, we're honored to be invited to participate and support, and we love it and appreciate it. Thank you. It's really the honor is ours, right? And I only hear good things about it. I don't think I'm qualified to go. So
We welcome all.
really, oh,
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. We would love to have you join us.
Wow. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I just saw it in the title. It's like, okay. So it sounds like it's mostly around threats, events, security, and things like that. That's amazing. Like, does that relate also to sovereignty? Does that fold into it? Like data sovereignty or tribal data sovereignty? Does that also come to play?
Yeah, we've had some experts speak on the topic as well. And after learning more about your organization and how the Tribal Gaming Protection Network supports that level of expertise, Andrew, and I'm just throwing it out there. I think you'd be an excellent speaker on our behalf one day. Uh, we share the knowledge from our subject matter experts like yourself. So from time to time, we do cover that topic.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, I'd be honored to speak. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Just tell me when. um, so when we talk about cyber, it's a real passion of mine. I was a hacker once, and
Okay.
I nearly crossed the line and got. Actually, I remember the moment I was standing at like the digital front door of a bank, thinking, and we just tested it to figure out whether or not they had a flaw that we could exploit. We discovered they could. And I remember I was sitting there with one of my hacker friends, and we're like, "Well, the next step, we're in the bank." We stopped. We didn't go in. Like, but it was very
Good.
tempting, and it was sort of but it was interesting perspective, right? Like we had no ill intent. And I think there's quite a lot of hackers like that. They just, we were just kids hacking around in a bank and it was there and vulnerable. Hacking today has become a profession, right? Like cybersecurity is like a massive issue. So my experience today is working with organizations who've been hacked. And I always say to all of our partners that if you ever need it, just call us. We've been there before. We know some of the things to do, and several times had to fight off hacking or clean them out of an organization. Now I'm working on the tail end of one now. I won't name the organization, and I remember once I had another one where I came in right hot in the war room at the start. And it was crazy. Like everyone was sitting around this table. I walk in and they called me. It was 11 o'clock at night. And they called me and said, "You have to
Shoot.
come over." And I was like, "Guys, it's 11 o'clock, like PM." Like, "No." Like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "No, you have to come, like right now." I was like, "All right." I came in and the thing that I noticed more than anything was, and this is maybe where your planning sessions come into it, just the shell shock. Like they were like this. What do we do? Like they didn't know what to do because which bits have been corrupted. How do you go forth? Like what do you do? These are things that in that moment are really hard. Like it seems obvious maybe afterwards what you should have done, but when you're there and there's a hacker and they try to make it look as scary as possible, right? These big flashing lights or red letters or something, "I've got you," right? Like it is terrifying. And I think people react emotionally to that, which would be expected. And I'd be really interested to hear how the protection network has helped people through that initial shock. Have you heard stories of that? And don't be specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, not to that level, but I'm glad you shared that, Andrew, because that just proves the importance of aligning ourselves with the experts like an Andrew out there, because we don't have the expertise of all. We can't cover every scenario out there. So we align ourselves with the best. And it's just so important for us. When you talk about sovereignty, you're talking about self-sufficiency and all of these kind of buzzwords that you've heard all over the years. It's so important to our communities because we're not serving the stakeholders, the business owners, the shareholders. We are serving our communities. And so when you see these red flags, when we have these hacks or these infiltrations, you're alerted first of all, but then you also think about the potential outcomes. And that's disturbing our communities. These tribal casinos, they fund so much more. They fund our infrastructure, our healthcare, our education. So when we have these alerts, we are notified that there's a potential threat against us. Like it's all hands on deck because we know we're
Really?
protecting so
Yeah.
much more than just the brick and mortar casino.
Yeah, I've long thought there should be like a fire service, right? I don't know the word for it, but like a group of people, like you think about day-to-day business and people are just not ready to put out fires, right? You don't expect, you don't have a fire engine in your house. I wouldn't expect you to. They'll be unusual. Let's just say it, very unusual.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same with cyber, right? Like you can be prepared, you can have a plan, but when there is a fire, I'm using that as a
Yeah.
metaphor, right? When there's when
Right.
there's that event, I've long thought that there should be a tribal fire service, like a cyber fire service of people, or volunteer. I'm sure that lots of people would volunteer, right? Who are ready to come in and help and react because it is not easy, right? And some of these hackers have different levels of sophistication. Um, there's different response threats, right? Like it can be, sometimes they're just bluffing, right? Sometimes they can be deep in your systems. You don't really know initially, right? But I've long thought about having a fire, like a response service that can jump in 24/7, like it has to be, right?
Like
Like,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Can see obviously there's a need, right? There's a need, and if you can take that burden off of our communities, because our communities have so much more to focus on. They're focusing on how to protect our community and how to prevent it from hitting where it really hurts with us. If there's a team that we can rely on, I mean, I think that'd be a huge burden lifted off of us. Great idea.
Oh yeah. In an informal way, I am often the fire service. It's really, really a big deal. The first thing that happens is you understand that you don't have time on your side. You've got to move very quickly, right? And you've got to really know what you're doing. And you're dealing with a, 100 unknowns. You don't know anything. I'll give you one thing that I would advise every organization out there to be ready with when there is an event of some kind, is to have a closet, a cupboard, with computers in it that are completely clean, right? Like, and on their own little network. And it's like, why would you want that? It's like, well, the first thing that happens in a cyber attack is you realize you can't use your computers. So what are you going to do? Like, you're on your phone. Right? I'm trying to do things on
Mhm.
my phone. It's terrible.
Right.
I would say to everyone, like, hey, you've got your fire closet, you've got your computer closet. It's got its own little network, right? Maybe I don't know how many computers it's got in there, maybe 10 computers or something. And you can actually take them out and you've got an environment maybe it's got an email address that's different, right? But should have its own network, its own environment, like isolated out little area that you can actually start getting to the work of communicating and bringing in the resources that you need. And
Yeah, that's a great idea. QCI tip number 1.
there you go. Well, that's it. Okay, QCI tip number 1: have a cupboard with computers in it, because when this happens, and you pick up your computer keyboard and you look at it and you say, this computer might be compromised. That's a big deal, right? And
Absolutely.
the
Yes.
hackers are telling you not to do anything, and they might be watching you. So it's like, gosh, you feel kind of stuck, right? So, okay, you get this clean computer on a clean network. So step 1, right?
Yeah, I
I have
like
lots
it.
more of
Yeah,
these if you want. Like I've got step 2. Yeah, keep me going all day. Yeah.
right,
So how frequently do you have these seminars, and when are they happening? When's the next one, for example? When is your
right.
yearly conference?
So we host these quarterly, the webinars. Security and surveillance is the name of our focus board. However, we are shifting into more of a technology and security type of focus board because of the growth of technology and AI and security, all of that great stuff. Our next one is hosted by BMM. They host all of our platforms for us, our webinar platforms, and I believe it's on June 9th. And so we'll get that information out. Our annual conference, our Women in Tribal Gaming Symposium, it is going to be hosted at the Gila River Resort in Arizona. May 12th and 13th this year. And we welcome all. Andrew, it's an event that it's intentionally created to support the women in our industry, but also to all who are looking for inspiration and professional growth and resources and the tools that they need to really advance their career in tribal gaming. And I'll share a little background on that. So we call it a creation story. A number of years ago, in fact, 10 years ago, there was a group of colleagues from TGPN who attended a 3-day conference, and this conference was focused on security and surveillance topics, but it had 3 full days of a packed agenda. And not until the very last day, on the very last topic, was there one female presenter on the panel. So we had 3 full days of a packed agenda, but only one female speaker was invited. At that time, we knew that there was a need, there was a gap that we needed to help fill and just complete that void in the industry, that disparity. And so we created the Women in Tribal Gaming kind of as an extension of the protection network. We thought at that time, what's our most important asset in Indian country? And that's our women. A lot of our tribes are matriarchal. And so our women play a vital and role in not only our communities but in our enterprise space as well. And so we created this conference to support that need, and that's been almost 10 years now. We're celebrating our 9th anniversary this year. Next year we'll be celebrating our 10th, but it's been a journey. We're very proud of the space that we create. We create a space for the woman that is uniquely aligned with the women in the tribal gaming space. So not just tribal women or Native American women, but women from all backgrounds that serve that same purpose, and that purpose is to increase awareness in Indian country. That purpose is to embrace each other where we're at and help each other grow. And that aligns with not only our female colleagues, but also our male colleagues. So again, Andrew, the invitation's out there. We appreciate QCI supporting as a sponsor this year, the representation that you already have aligned attending the conference, but we would love to see Andrew as well.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, I would be honored to attend. Yeah, yeah. But it sounds amazing, actually. Yeah, I have um, a very interesting story about my my mother and her leadership as well. She was a she was a it's a long story. I'm going to try and keep it to 20 seconds,
Please
right?
share.
Yeah, so she was a kindergarten teacher. She decided that the town needed a library, and she was a very determined woman. And the area that we lived in was very conservative, very rural, and there had never been a female local government politician. And 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 she ran as for the mayor. And at that point, women didn't have the vote, and it was a household vote, which is pretty crazy, right? And she became the longest serving continuous, I think, local government politician in New Zealand history. And it's a long story what she did. I won't go into it, but it was amazing for me to go to her very last meeting, and at a Merrill meeting. It was incredible. And she was there, and and my mother was very flamboyant, right? So she was dressed in all these really bright floral colors, and there she was at the head of the table, and sitting around her, there was one other woman, I think maybe two, right? And were something like a dozen guys in blue suits, right?
That's
And every
beautiful.
one of
Yeah.
them stood up and said, "What an honor it has been to serve you for the last decade or more." Every single one of them. It was just like I watched this and I was like, wow, like what leadership, what an incredible woman. And that
Absolutely.
was she was, oh, she's gone now, but in my life it was always difficult moment when I was doing something that she thought maybe I shouldn't, because she had a way of positioning it that made it very difficult for me to continue to do that. Or if she thought I should go in a particular direction, it was like there was a way that she could get me there, right? She was very good at it. Yeah. I could talk a
Oh,
lot
thank
about
you.
what she
Thank you,
did, but
Andrew. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. And those are the inspiring stories that we love to hear because our women need they need role models. They need those stories of inspiration to keep going and to move past their current environment that they're in right now. So thank you, story. So Andrew, so in that's just a testament to your strength and your success today. You came from the strength of your mom. That sounds amazing.
That's right. There's no doubt, no doubt at all. Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's hard to describe to people what it's like to be raised in that way by that kind of female leadership, like what that means, what
Yeah.
that does to a male, right? When you're used to it,
Yes.
just means I think for me personally, it means that I I find it very easy to accept female leadership, maybe easier than others. Like it's not even I don't even think about it, right? I kind of expect it, right? Like I'm used to it, right? And when you grow up with it, that's kind of I think that's what happens. Maybe that's the matriarchal society. That's what it brings as well. I'd be interested. It's an interesting perspective. So
Yeah.
the industry right now is in this massive sea change, right? Like, um, I actually think in a good way, right? Like, and it's not all good, but largely it seems to be good. Um, and the the center of it, in my view, the center of it is that the tribal nations have invested back into the business of their resort. And largely, like, and if you think back 25 years ago when we both started, there was a lot of semi-permanent slot halls, right? Like, like blow up tents, I guess, like but semi-permanent structures, like an ice skating ring, right? And bingo halls that were converted and things like that, right? And now I see golf courses, I see beautiful hotels, I see restaurants, I see all these different things on different levels. It's become a resort industry. But behind that, more and more and more systems, more points of vulnerability, right? So I think that's the big evolution that I see. What are your thoughts on how to help that? Like how do we protect this explosion of the number of systems that we need, the number of computer systems we need to run a business? Like, what do you
Yeah.
think, Francis?
I agree. I think the digital expansion is significant. It's that technology shift where we started 24, well, when we started 25 years ago, but the gaming industry has been around much longer, but there's been that significant shift. And we've done a fantastic job adapting to that. And again, aligning ourselves with the professionals to help guide us in that direction. Where I like to focus is on educating our next generation. We need to educate and invest in our people so that we can have the experts, the technology experts, not only align with us as partners, but within our communities. So we have the leverage to do that now. We've built, like you mentioned, we've built our infrastructure. We have our health cares and our golf courses and everything that we need within our communities. So we've developed that, but now we need to focus on developing the future. And if that's in technology, which it absolutely is, we need to invest in our next generation and building them up to be the next subject matter experts and leaders and ultimately strengthen our communities.
Yeah, I think as I'm 25 years in the industry, and I've seen tribal leaders emerge, you know, all over the place, and tribal leadership, emerge in a really amazing way, right? And incredible. I think of it as a transformation personally. Just watching it today, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think you're so right. Like having the next generation, giving them access to and training and skills and awareness of critical areas for the business, right, of the resort is so important. Tell me about what your plans are for that. How do you think, how will that unfold? What do you think? How will you do more of that? Like, well, what are you doing in that space? I guess, right?
Yeah, well, with the TGPN, we're building a more of a mentorship program. So we have one of our focus areas is next generation. And within the women in tribal gaming space, we have an ambassador program. And the ambassador program, we select three individuals every single year, and to kind of not only be the face of an ambassador level with women in tribal gaming, but we help support them with their professional growth, whether it's introducing them to a potential mentor, helping them build their network of professionals in their space. And we're hoping to just grow that program and align with organizations that can help us create a mentorship or even maybe even an internship with their programs as well. So just finding the solutions and the resources out there to help our next generation fulfill that need.
Yeah, I love it. And there's the the power of a role model, right? I see you. I see you. You kind of really seem to key in on that. It's amazing when people can see a path,
Yes,
right? There's so much more that can happen, right? And I think
yes,
that that having these ambassadors really does that, right? Like highlight these leaders, show people that there is a way that they can that it's open to everyone where you can move and do this. Yeah, and I think that's really a very powerful concept, very powerful way of approaching
yes.
it. I
It,
really like it. Yeah,
absolutely. And representation is really important. It matters in Indian country. And I think our youth, our next generation, our young professionals, they not only need to see individuals that look like them or just come from a community that they come from. Just having that representation is such an impact for them on their growth, on completing school, on pursuing higher education, and pursuing those roles that they never imagined that
right.
they
Yeah,
can find themselves in.
yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, that is amazing. And tell me about what it means for you personally. Like this, this is a huge position you're in, like showing real leadership. How tell me about your personal experience. What does this mean for you personally, Francis?
It's an honor. It's an honor to serve in the capacity where I can make a difference. And we talk about legacy all the time, and I don't completely understand legacy at this moment. I think legacy is something that you grow into and you develop over the years. I do know that it's something that you want to leave in a better position than when you found it. I also believe that it's intentional and it's inspirational. So being in this role, the chairwoman of the Tribal Gaming Protection Network, I take it very seriously in the sense that I want to continue to inspire not only my colleagues, the next generation, but I want to lead with purpose. I want to lead with intention and just inspire that next generation to fill my footsteps one day.
I think that's. I think you've just defined legacy. Yeah, maybe that's a great way of thinking about it. It's not just what we do; it's how we encourage the next generation to continue. Maybe that is the definition of legacy. Because without that, maybe it just doesn't continue, right? Like I think that's it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really good. Yeah. So you do
yeah.
know what legacy is, I think.
I guess so.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you put it that way.
yeah. Yes, it's about demonstrating leadership so that the next generation understands that they can be the leaders. Because the what we do maybe is less important, right? Like in a way, than the leadership that we're showing as we do things, right?
Yeah,
'Cause who
yeah,
knows what we need to do in 2030? I mean, I don't know what we need to do in
absolutely.
2030, but I do know that the leaders in 2030 and their decisions and their judgment, that's going to be the thing that defines us. Maybe the legacy is about building the leadership of the future, which is what you're doing with your ambassador program and bringing people into leadership positions and creating those opportunities for leaders. I think you've really got legacy kind of clearly laid out, and not knowing what the what is a part of it. And none of us
Yeah,
can
well, yeah,
anticipate
thank you,
the
Andrew.
issues that we're going to be challenged with in the future, right? We
Yeah,
just don't know.
absolutely. And there's definitely a passion that I have to serve my community, serve Indian country as a whole. I serve as the president for the National Native American Hall of Fame. And within that role, when you speak about legacies, that's what we do. We actually preserve the legacies and the stories of our Native American achievers.
Yeah, I reflect on Chairman Stevens, and I've watched him speak many times, and I just always like to think about his words carefully. One of the themes that emerged for me was he would often talk about leadership and leaders, and and I thought that maybe that's his legacy, his drive towards bringing people into leadership positions. Like he was really dedicated to that, in my view, right? Like that's what I
Yeah.
observed. I don't know if you,
Yeah.
what do you think?
But yeah. Yeah, when I mentioned the responsibility of carrying his legacy through TGPN, it doesn't stop there. He was also a supporter of the women in tribal gaming. We heard his stories and he shared often. He was very proud to come from a matriarchal society. He was very proud of the women in his life, and he didn't just speak it. He carried that through his actions. He was a huge supporter of the work we do in the Women in Tribal Gaming. More to come, but we are also building an opportunity to never lose that purpose that he had, that drive, and to continue his legacy within the space that we work within.
There we go. This legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Powerful things that you're doing, Francis. I think like
Thank you.
continuing the legacy, bringing real leadership, tribal leadership in the way that is appropriate for you, the tribal people of North America. And it's amazing. Is there anything, anything else that you'd like to say today, Francis? Anything else if you have a closing thought? And certainly, you mentioned a couple of different organizations and things. You better make sure we tell people where can they go for more information.
Yes, for Tribal Gaming Protection Network, they can go to tgpnglobal.com or .org. For the Women in Tribal Gaming, you can go to womenintribalgaming.com. And then also the National Native American Hall of Fame. You can go to nativehalloffame.com to find more information there. Tons of resources. Highly encourage you to visit any of the sites. All nonprofit, so we do incredible work for the community. And I want to thank you, Andrew. I want to thank you, QCI, for allowing us to share a few words about what we do and allowing us, with you hosting us and allowing us to speak our story. You are also contributing to our support and carrying on the legacy of Chairman Ernie Stevens Jr. So we appreciate the space that you gave us today.
I learned a lot. It was um, not the least of which is there's another conference I might be able to go to sometime, and it was wonderful to meet you, Francis, and to hear your story and the incredible work that you've done over what now over 20 years that you've been doing this. It's just amazing, and that we're almost neighbors.
Yes,
I think we are. Yeah.
we
It's
are.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, well, so this has been QCI Pod. Frances Alvarez is an incredible leader and showing and doing amazing things. And it was incredible to hear your story today, Frances. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.